The tension inside the APC primaries this year has taken a dramatic turn, and many Nigerians are now asking one serious question: how did a process meant to select party candidates turn into scenes of fear, confusion, and violence in some states? In Ondo State, reports from the primary election process describe moments of panic after suspected thugs allegedly attacked parts of the exercise, with gunshots reportedly forcing party members and voters to run for safety. At the same time, nationwide figures released by the ruling party showed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recording over 10.99 million votes across the APC primaries, a number that has sparked celebration among supporters and criticism from opposition voices questioning the credibility and atmosphere surrounding the exercise. What should have been a routine political event quickly became one of the most talked about stories in the country. Across social media, local discussions, and political circles, Nigerians have been debating not just the outcome of the primaries, but the way the process unfolded in several states. And while party officials insist the exercise was largely successful, reports from different areas suggest the atmosphere was far from peaceful in some locations. Before we continue, if you enjoy calm, detailed political analysis like this, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others following developments across Nigeria. And most importantly, drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is already generating major reactions nationwide. Now, according to accounts coming out of Ondo State, tension reportedly began building even before voting activities fully settled down. Witnesses and local reports claim that groups of suspected political thugs appeared around parts of the primary venue, creating fear among delegates and party supporters. Some accounts suggest arguments started over disagreements linked to candidate support and voting in arrangements. Then suddenly, confusion reportedly escalated. Several reports indicate that gunshots were heard near the venue area, sending people running in different directions. Videos circulating online appeared to show people fleeing while security personnel attempted to restore order. Though details remain disputed in some areas, one of the biggest talking points was the alleged attack connected to the convoy or vehicle of a serving senator involved in the political process. According to local accounts, shots were reportedly fired toward the senator's vehicle during the unrest. Thankfully, there have been no widely confirmed reports of deaths linked directly to that particular incident at the time many of these stories emerged. But the fear created by the situation immediately became the center of attention. Political observers say incidents like this damage public confidence in internal party democracy, especially at a time when many Nigerians already feel frustrated with the country's political climate. And this is important to understand. Primaries are not the general election. These are internal party contests used to decide who represents the party in future elections. Ideally, the process is supposed to show organization, discipline, and unity within the party structure. But whenever violence enters the picture, the focus shifts away from policies and leadership and moves towards security concerns and political intimidation. For many Nigerians watching from home, the scenes coming out of parts of Ondo raised familiar concerns. Political violence during elections is not entirely new in Nigeria. Over the years, there have been repeated calls from civil society groups, election monitors, and ordinary citizens asking political parties to conduct peaceful and transparent primaries. The reason is simple. The behavior seen during internal party contests often reflects what may happen during larger elections later on. At the same time all this was happening, APC officials announced nationwide primary figures showing massive support for President Bola Tinubu within the party structure. According to figures released by the ruling party, Tinubu secured approximately 10.99 million votes across the country during the process. Supporters described the result as proof that the president still controls strong political influence nationwide, despite economic challenges and growing criticism from opposition parties. But as expected, not everyone accepted the numbers without questions. Some opposition figures and critics immediately reacted online, arguing that the huge vote totals raised concerns considering Nigeria's current economic difficulties and public dissatisfaction over issues like inflation, fuel prices, unemployment, and the cost of living. Others questioned how such overwhelming support figures were achieved during a process that reportedly experienced disputes and confusion in some states. Now, to be fair, party primaries are often influenced by internal party structures, delegate systems, and political alliances. They are very different from nationwide general elections where ordinary citizens vote directly. So analysts say comparing primary numbers directly with national voter turnout can sometimes be misleading. Still, whenever huge political figures are announced, public debate is almost guaranteed. In Ondo especially, the political atmosphere has been tense for months. Different camps within the APC have been competing aggressively ahead of upcoming political contests, and observers say internal rivalries have continued to grow stronger. When multiple powerful interests clash inside one political party, tensions can rise quickly, particularly during candidate selection processes where political futures are at stake. Security agencies reportedly moved into affected areas after the disturbances, while party officials attempted to calm supporters and continue parts of the exercise. Some APC leaders condemned the violence and called for investigations into those allegedly responsible. Others insisted that isolated incidents should not overshadow what they described as a successful nationwide exercise. But critics disagree with that view. Some political analysts argue that even isolated violence during primaries sends the wrong signal to the public. They say political parties should demonstrate the highest standards of order and discipline because parties are the foundation of democratic systems. If internal party processes become chaotic, many citizens begin losing trust in the broader political process itself. Another important part of this story is the role of political thugs in Nigerian politics. For decades, different parties across the political spectrum have faced accusations of using loyal street groups or strongmen during elections and political disputes. In many cases, these groups are accused of intimidating opponents, disrupting voting areas, or creating fear among rival supporters. Security experts have repeatedly warned that unless political actors stop empowering such groups, election-related violence may continue repeating itself during every major political season. And many Nigerians are tired of it. Across social media platforms, reactions to the Ondo incident were emotional. Some users expressed anger, saying ordinary citizens should never fear for their safety because of politics. Others questioned why political competition in Nigeria often becomes so aggressive. There were also supporters defending the APC leadership, arguing that no large political process is completely free from isolated security incidents. Meanwhile, conversations about Tinubu's 10.99 million primary votes continued spreading online. Supporters praised the numbers as a sign of political dominance within the APC. Critics called for more transparency around how the figures were compiled. Neutral observers mostly focused on what the numbers reveal about internal party control and political influence ahead of future elections. One thing is certain, the story goes beyond just one state or one political party. It reflects larger questions Nigerians continue asking about democracy, political accountability, and election culture in the country. Can political parties organize peaceful and transparent contests without intimidation? Can security agencies respond quickly enough to prevent violence before situations escalate? And perhaps most importantly, can ordinary Nigerians trust political processes when scenes of panic and gunfire continue appearing around elections and primaries? Those questions remain at the center of public debate today. Another issue people are discussing is how these incidents affect Nigeria's image internationally. Every time violence is linked to elections or political events, global observers pay attention. Investors, international partners, and democratic organizations often monitor how political transitions and electoral processes are handled. Even if incidents happen only in specific areas, the wider perception can still affect confidence in the country's political stability. Now, it's also important not to spread unverified claims. In situations like this, rumors move very fast online. Some videos and posts shared on social media may not always show the full context of events. That is why many observers encourage Nigerians to rely on verified updates and credible reporting instead of emotionally charged misinformation. Still, the fear experienced by people present during the unrest cannot simply be ignored. Imagine attending a political gathering expecting speeches and voting only for confusion and reported gunfire to suddenly erupt nearby. For many delegates and supporters, that kind of experience leaves lasting concern about personal safety during political activities. As discussions continue, attention will likely shift toward whether investigations are carried out and whether anyone connected to the violence is held accountable. Nigerians have often criticized the lack of consequences after political unrest. In many past incidents, arrests were announced publicly, but final outcomes were rarely communicated clearly to the public. Because of that history, some citizens remain skeptical whenever politicians promise investigations after election violence. At the same time, APC leaders are expected to focus on damage control, party unity, and public messaging moving forward. Political parties generally try to avoid prolonged internal crisis after primaries because divisions can weaken their position ahead of larger elections. For President Bola Tinubu and his allies, the reported 10.99 million votes will likely be presented as evidence of strong support inside the party structure. But opposition parties are also expected to continue questioning both the numbers and the atmosphere surrounding the primaries. And for ordinary Nigerians watching all this unfold, the bigger concern may simply be this: can politics in Nigeria become less dangerous and more focused on real issues affecting everyday life? That conversation is far from over. If you followed this story closely, share your thoughts respectfully in the comments. Do you believe political parties are doing enough to prevent violence during primaries? And what do you think about the nationwide vote figures announced by the APC? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who want balanced updates on Nigerian politics and national developments. Stay informed, stay safe, and we'll continue following the story as more verified details emerge.